Hi, Jen here from Jen Michelle Coaching, and today I want to talk about what to do when he's distant. For those of you new to my channel, I would love to invite you to subscribe. I release a video weekly. I have several videos on this channel, what to do when there's that tension or when the dynamic just feels off. And so maybe I'll add a link to some of those videos below. But today I just want to kind of offer a new perspective around what to do when you're just feeling some of that distance with your partner, because so much of the actions that women want to take, from my personal experience as well as my coaching practice, is really counterintuitive to seeing the bigger picture and what's going to support that reconnection and that stability in the long run. So let's just dive into this. Number one, space and just open, active listening without judgment. So often when we feel that distance, we're going to want to start asking questions. What's wrong? Like, what's going on with you? Everything okay? Did something happen? We can kind of bombard and start fishing for information. And this can come off very off-putting and very smothering to the other person, to the masculine, because it's rooted in fear, which is never going to go very well. It's also rooted kind of in a distrust, whether that's a distrust in yourself or the other person. And as I've talked about so much before, just putting those expectations on our partner just to be a certain way for us and for our comforts, right? That's not rooted in unconditional love. And I know this sounds a little bit harsh, but it's actually a very self-centered perspective, right? It's like, it's saying that, you need to be this so I feel good within me. And it doesn't feel free or open. It's kind of more conditions, like, this is what I like and this is what I need from you, versus just like allowing and that more open acceptance of where our partner may be in a given moment. And so this is a practice, right? Because most of us were really taught to put conditions on people. I mean, we have that modeled for us by pretty much everyone in our life. 90% of relationship modeling is rooted with conditions being put upon love. And so if you find that you do this, hold compassion for yourself, because it really is what we are learning to unravel in terms of what we were taught growing up and what we saw being demonstrated for so many years of our life. Number two, self-care. Because what often happens is when we don't feel good, we start looking for a reason. And if then our partner is just a little bit off or pulling away, or let's say they're really distant because things just haven't been going well, it's going to be amplified by a lack of self-care and an over preoccupation with what's going on. So when we don't feel good, of course, then we automatically look for a reason. Why don't I feel good? And often the first place we're going to look is our intimate relationship. We're going to look for a place to put it instinctively. And if things are pretty bad, that would make logical sense, yet focusing on it in this amplified manner isn't going to serve us. It's just going to make things feel more heavy and more tense. And so it's not about ignoring what is, but it's about really getting that focus on the things in your life that allow you to feel a little bit better, versus saying, I'm going to zone in on this until it's fixed or until I get what I want. Then you're going to be waiting a very long time for that pathway to open. And so the healing and the sort of reconnection occurs when you really do sort of practice that self-care. This is where you create the best chance for another person to move forward and get curious again and be open to you. So if there's things in your life that you've let go because you've justified the need to be available for your partner, or your need to be available in the relationship a certain way, I invite you to start really taking those steps to fill up your life with the things that feel most nourishing to you. Maybe it's a weekly exercise class, a yoga class, just some downtime at a cafe. It can be something so small. It doesn't have to be anything big, but just the act of showing up for yourself intentionally to give to yourself is incredibly healing. And it's rooted in just being self-approved, making yourself a priority, not self-abandoning so you can accommodate and meet the needs of your partner over your own. And so really start to practice self-care in those simple ways that are something you can implement daily, versus saving it for once or twice a year when you can take that big trip or get away for a little bit longer period. Make it a daily offering that's in your life. Number 3, don't make assumptions. This is a huge one because often when we are feeling uneasy or a little bit nervous or uncomfortable with the way another person is showing up or their distance or their stonewalling, no matter what level the distance is, all of this advice is the same. We want to make sure that we're not assuming things as a result of that. If it's going on weeks, of course, then yes, being able to say, I've felt this way, I've observed this. Can we talk about it? Is there anything that, I need to know? And of course, inviting in those bigger conversations. But, let's just say it's like an off day or two. Just allowing that space, I think, is a very, very healthy thing to do without making assumptions, without making it like the sky is falling or the relationship is over. Because, of course, our thoughts influence our emotions and our emotions influence our actions. And that's what creates our life, right? So we want to be very attuned to what we are thinking about and where we're taking action from. We want to make sure that like our point of attraction when we do something is as stable and centered and solid as possible within, and that it's rooted in truth, not in hypothetical scenarios that your ego has come up with along the way. So I think that this will do a lot in terms of being able to express yourself from a centered, grounded, non-triggered state, which then allows the other person to be more open and receptive to you because they can feel that energetic charge when it's present, right? And typically in masculine feminine partnership, that causes more shutdown and more distance, right? So I hope these 3 tips are really helpful to you and any level of distance you may be facing in your love or relationship situation. Please subscribe to my newsletter. I've linked it below. It's jam-packed with helpful information and advice, and it comes with my complimentary guide, Reconnecting to Your Divine Feminine Essence. Much love, and I'll see you all next week.
Got this feeling I can't describe.